there is no rush. There is no need to tire yourself out, go flat out, burn yourself out unnecessarily. It's good to have deadlines and goals and somewhere you want to be, but rushing to get there is not going to make you get there any quicker. Things take time, and a lot of these things are out of our control. And I think we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves to work as quickly and as hard as we can non-stop, and it just isn't really feasible or possible. I think we can often feel like, oh, if I just I'm gonna get up early and sleep less, I'm gonna cram my day full of all these things, and I'm gonna just stack myself, like front load everything, and then that way I can do that really quickly. Or I'm gonna start running 5 times a week and gymming 5 times a week and suddenly start changing my food, or I'm gonna start filming all this stuff. And it comes out of this kind of desperation to get to the goal as quickly as possible. And I think that can, you're setting yourself up for an unrealistic goal, because you will be disappointed, because just because you rush doesn't mean you're going to get better or get to where you want to. Things do take time. And so sometimes, and I understand, I think for me as well, pressure makes you behave like this, and you kind of think, okay, right, I've got to do as much as I can, as quick as I can to catch up. And I'll get into that later in the video. But honestly, really, as long as you're trying your hardest and following a plan, and you know that plan is appropriately paced, there is no reason why you can't and you won't get there at the right time if you're putting in the time and effort required. I've noticed whenever I rush things or try to rush things, I always end up either making big mistakes and screwing it up, or I don't do it to the best of my ability because I've got 10 minutes. I'm just going to quickly rush and cook this thing, and I burn something. Or I'm going to, just quickly write this email and there's a typo. Or I'm going to, quickly try and tidy the house, and I end up knocking something over because I'm rushing around like crazy. And I think with that, sometimes it's one of those things where you can feel like the quicker I do this, the quicker I can get on to the next thing. And that often, for me, comes from a place of feeling like I have so much on my plate that I just want to get as much done as quickly as I can, so I have the list ticked off. And whilst that approach is understandable, and I'm sure a lot of us do it, again, it just creates a lot of pressure and doesn't produce the best output. There's a saying that says diamonds are formed under pressure and over time. The pressure part we all have. I want to be diamond now, I want to be perfect now, I want to be great now. The time part, a lot of us forget. Like the actors or writers or performers or creatives that we look up to have often, we see them when they've reached their prime and they suddenly come into the forefront of, news or media or culture. But the talent they have has come and has been formed from years and years, often decades, of honing their craft and practicing and diligence. And I think that's something that we often forget, because we're in a culture where instant gratification and virality on TikTok or Instagram can propel you to so many followers. But it's the time alongside the talent and effort those people put into their lives or their hobbies or their crafts that made them get to where they are. And you cannot rush practice. You cannot rush a decade. A decade is a decade, whether you like it or not. There are some things you cannot, courses you cannot complete unless you have done the 6 months it takes to do the courses. There are reasons. There are reasons why things take a certain time to get to a certain standard or ability, because you need to have time to do the thing, process it, reflect, and then keep improving and getting better with practice. And I think if you think about movies, often you see movies where there's a protagonist and they're going through something, and then suddenly they have a moment that changes their life and moves it in a different direction. And we'll see snippets or montages of them training, or them running, or them working on their business, or them packaging stuff, or them, making sales calls. But what that montage is doing is showing us the time that is passing and progressing, and showing us that this person put in effort for a certain period of time. And then the film comes back to, present day, and we're seeing them as this newly formed person who has succeeded at something or has achieved something. But again, it's time that is required to get to that place. We cannot just suddenly wake up or have a 5-minute segment or a montage in our head and then think we're going to wake up tomorrow and be where we want to be. We have to accept and be willing to allow for time to take place to get us to these places and things that we want to achieve. With most things that we want to progress in, we know that it takes time, right? If you want to get in shape, you can just starve yourself for a week, but that's not going to be healthy, and you're going to end up, yo-yoing and putting weight back on. But generally, we know that people say that I was, monitoring my calories for, 12 weeks or 6 months or whatever, and they put in the time required, and then, these things have happened gradually over time. They've got to a place where they've now lost the weight or got in shape. Or even with the gym, right? People go 4 or 5 times a week for a year. Some of the people that I follow that are in great shape have been working out for 5-10 years. There's no way I can fast track that time that is required to get to that that body type. I have to put in the weekly work, the monthly work, that averages into the yearly work, and then the 4 or 5 years it requires to get there. And so whilst I want desperately more than anything to be in shape and to be really proud of my body, I have to also accept and be realistic that that is going to take me time, and there's no way I can change that other than just putting in the time required. And look, I know for some of us it can be hard to stay consistent. And I think for some of us it can be hard to stay consistent, and so the reason why we want to rush and get this thing done now is because we know that if I can just lose this weight in a month, if I can just write this book in a month, if I can just go viral in a month, then I'll be motivated to maintain it. If I can get these followers, and when I'm there, I'll be happy to keep creating. So I'm tired of creating and getting no reaction. And so I think we want to wish away the time because we fear that we'll lose motivational consistency. And the truth is that that's probably why you're not getting there in the first place. You're putting in the work, but you're not doing it for a long enough time, and then you keep stopping and then starting again and again. I'm prime candidate. The last video I filmed was 3 months ago. What's my excuse? I don't know. But, I understand why we feel like that, and I think it's better to focus on learning and loving the process and really being dedicated to, okay, I'm going to try and enjoy every gym session I have. I'm going to try and enjoy every time I sit down and write for this book. I'm going to try and enjoy every video I film. I'm going to try and structure this in a way that for me is manageable, fulfilling, and rewarding, and also efficient. I'm going to plan so that I can do this thing without feeling rushed and pressured, and I just want to do, build a system in your life that allows you to do the things you want to do in a way that are controlled, and that as long as I stick to this plan, I will get there in time. It's important, I think. And the question is, why do we all feel rushed? Why do we rush? I think for me, as I've said, a lot of it comes from this sudden realization, okay, I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling inspired, I'm going to research people that I'm inspired by and see where they're at and what I would like to be like. Then I think, oh god, okay, well, this guy's been doing this for this many years, or they've had this many books, they've done this many things, or they've made this much money. And I think I'm so far from that. And then you suddenly think, right, I've got to catch up as soon as I can because I'm behind, right? People that are my peers or that are younger than me, or that have less ability than me, are somewhere that I want to be. I've got to get there as soon as I can. And so you suddenly think, right, okay, or even with, you look at yourself in the mirror and think, God, I've put on weight, I'm not in good shape, I'm not happy with myself. Right, well, I need to get in shape as soon as possible. I'm going to do as much as I can so I can get there as quickly as I can. And you start crash dieting and exercising, all these kind of things, or suddenly posting 3 times a day, or, suddenly you write 5 chapters of your book, but it's not that, they're not good chapters because you rushed them. And I think that external pressure, when you compare yourself to other people, can be really detrimental, because in a way it makes you start to think, well, okay, I need to force myself to be perfect and perform at their level and their output so I can then receive the success that they have. But also, it takes time to have, let's say, the ability to edit those kind of videos, or to design those kind of clothes, or write in a certain way, or have gained a following, or to have been in a certain shape, or to have started a business and made that much money. It takes time and effort to get to that place. And if you think you're going to wake up in a month's time and be there, you're probably setting yourself up for a downfall and disappointment, because you're not going to be there in a year. It takes time. I've been trying to find ways to carve out and plan my time so that my time feels less rushed. So I know that, okay, I actually have allocated time this week to do these things. So I know that as long as I stick to my plan, those things will get done, and there's less chaos in my mind. Oh god, I need to film, I need to edit, I need to write, I need to go to the gym. Oh god, I need to just rush, I'm gonna run to the gym now, come back quickly, write and edit. No, I'm gonna actually structure my life so that as long as I stick to the plans I've made for myself, these things will get done, and they'll get done in time and efficiently. And it takes away the pressure of having or needing to rush and suddenly be panicked and freaking out, which is why I was rushing a lot. And I think I've even started doing things that help me feel calmer throughout the day. So, I'm the kind of person that leaves the house at the last minute possible, and then I have to power walk to the station or line bike to the station, then quickly change platforms on the underground. And when I have to find a bike quickly and then cycle to my friends to meet them on time. I've started telling myself, just leave 10 minutes earlier so you can walk slowly and have the time to think, or listen to a podcast, listen to some music, take in the surroundings, and just calm down and recenter. Or rather than, line biking, I'll just walk or get a bus and go the longer journey. Or in the mornings, getting up 15 minutes early so I have time to just sit down and just read the news or chill on my phone before I get up, rather than alarm goes off, jump into the shower, rush, be late. Things like that. Or before bed, actually being I'm going to get into bed at 10 instead of 11, so I don't have to go straight to sleep because I'm tired and late. And then just chill in bed, read my book for a bit, and then fall asleep calmly. Those smaller things that actually allow me to feel less pressure on myself and less rushed by time itself has helped me be more calm. When I'm starting a new task, I'm like, okay, I've just relaxed a little bit. I actually feel in a good place. I can look at this with a clear head and not be super overwhelmed. So that's one thing I found that's been useful. And then I think as well, getting rid of distractions has been good. Things that stop me from being efficient with my time. So, I might be rushing and feeling pressured and telling myself I have so much to catch up on because I feel like I've wasted a week because I spent 4 hours a day scrolling on TikTok, or I spent, how many hours watching trash TV. And then I feel like, okay, right, I've got to make up for this week I wasted by like getting loads done this week. If you can remove those distractions that take you off track and off your path and off your plan and distract you and stop you from doing what you want to do, you'll start to feel like, looking back at this week, I've been good with my time and I've done what I've needed to do each day. There's no need for me to feel I've got to cram 5 days of work into one day today. Actually, I can chill a bit on Saturday. And that just comes from being more disciplined, which I think is a different video completely, but still, just taking away things that distract me, so then I have less time. So when I do have the time becomes rushed and pressured. Helps you actually, when you go into the time that you've allocated to do something, feel more relaxed and in control, not guilty for being behind already. You're starting on the front foot rather than the back foot. But that's it. I mean, there's no rush. Obviously, we all want to do well and achieve things in life, and we put pressure on ourselves, and pressure is good and motivation is good, but there is no need to rush everything you do. What is meant to be will be, what is for you will not pass you, and when the time is right, it will happen for you. So just, be consistent, focus, put your energy into it, and give it time and see what happens.